Long ago, the Galactic Union marked Earth as unimportant. It was a small blue planet with wild storms, shifting seas, and fragile life. The Union preferred calm worlds with steady skies and easy paths to space. Earth did not fit their plans. A short note was written, a code was assigned, and the file was placed deep in the archives. After that, no one looked at it again. Time moved forward in the galaxy. Great cities rose on distant worlds. Trade lanes grew bright with traffic. Earth stayed quiet and unseen. On Earth, James Walker sat alone in a cold control room at the edge of a desert. The listening station around him was old, built before humans had reached the stars. Its tall antennas pointed upward like thin fingers, always reaching. James checked numbers on his screen, adjusted settings, and logged static that most people believed meant nothing. His work was calm and slow. Some days, weeks passed with no real signal at all. James did not mind. He believed space was full of stories even when it sounded empty. He had worked at the station for 10 years. Many of his friends had moved on to louder jobs in cities or space yards. James stayed. He liked the quiet hum of machines and the steady rhythm of the stars passing overhead. He trusted patterns. He trusted patience. Far away, in a small university office filled with dust and old books, Emily Carter studied maps that most people had forgotten. They were not printed maps, but star charts saved in broken data formats. Emily restored them piece by piece, fixing errors and filling missing lines. She did this not because it paid well but because it felt important. One night, as rain tapped softly against her window, Emily noticed something strange. Several charts from different alien sources showed the same empty space. A blank area where stars existed, but no records named any world there. She checked older human charts. Earth was there. Clear and bright. Emily frowned. She checked again. The gap was not random. It was placed on purpose. Over the next weeks, Emily worked harder. She compared signals, trade routes, and old warnings. Every time the same thing appeared. Earth was missing. Not destroyed. Not restricted. Just ignored. That made her uneasy. Emily contacted James after finding his name linked to long-range signal logs. They had never met, but her message was careful and polite. James read it late at night while sipping weak coffee. At first he thought it was a mistake. Then he saw her data. The gaps matched something he had seen before. James had recorded faint signals for years. They were old, worn, and quiet, like echoes bouncing through deep space. No clear words. No clear source. He had labeled them as background noise but never deleted them. Something about them felt deliberate. When James and Emily compared notes, the picture grew clearer. Earth had not been attacked. It had been set aside. The galaxy had decided Earth did not matter. Instead of anger, a strange calm settled over them. This was not an ending. It was a beginning. While the galaxy forgot, Earth changed. Human cities grew taller and smarter. Storms taught engineers how to build stronger structures. Earthquakes taught them flexibility. Disease taught them caution and care. Conflict taught them limits. Every failure left behind lessons. Humans did not rush into space with loud fleets. They sent small probes. They listened. They learned. They watched others make mistakes and took notes. James upgraded his station using parts that were never meant to fit together. Emily shared her maps with quiet groups of researchers who asked careful questions. No public announcements were made. No warnings were sent out. Earth stayed silent. Years passed. James grew older. Emily gained students who shared her curiosity. Together, without realizing it, they became part of something larger. A quiet network formed. Listening posts. Observers. Analysts. Builders. Earth remembered everything. James once received a signal that was different from all the others. It was weak and broken, but it carried fear. Someone was calling for help, though they did not know who might hear them. The signal did not name Earth. It did not even know Earth existed. James logged it. He did not answer. Not yet. Emily traced the signal's path and saw how close it passed to the empty space where Earth had been erased. The thought made her hands shake. The galaxy had ignored Earth, but danger did not. She wrote a simple line in her notes: "Being forgotten does not mean being safe." On a clear night, James stepped outside the station and looked up. The sky was full of stars, bright and sharp. Somewhere out there, powerful civilizations rose and fell. They believed Earth was small. Weak. Not worth watching. James smiled slightly. Earth had learned to survive without being seen. It had learned to grow without praise. It had learned to wait. And waiting, James knew, was not the same as surrender. The blue planet kept turning. It kept listening. Kept remembering. The galaxy had forgotten Earth. Earth had not forgotten the galaxy. Years passed and Earth changed in quiet ways. There were no grand announcements and no loud displays of power. Progress happened slowly, hidden behind normal work and careful planning. To the rest of the galaxy, Earth remained a forgotten note in an old archive. On Earth, Michael Reed stood on a wide platform inside a shipyard that floated above the ocean. Below him, waves moved in steady lines. Above him, the frame of a new ship took shape. It was not large or beautiful. It was strong, balanced, and simple. Michael believed ships did not need to look impressive. They needed to last. Michael led one of Earth's expansion projects, but expansion did not mean taking land or claiming stars. It meant preparation. He worked with engineers, pilots, and builders who shared the same belief. Defense first. Survival always. Jessica Moore worked beside him, often late into the night. She focused on navigation systems and energy control. Her designs favored stability over speed. She removed unnecessary features and replaced them with backups. If one system failed, another would take over. If two failed, a third waited. Many called her designs boring. Jessica took that as praise. The ships they built were not made to threaten others. They carried no massive weapons and no sharp markings. Their hulls were layered to absorb damage. Their engines were quiet. Their sensors were wide and deep, built to see danger long before it arrived. While other civilizations chased power, Earth chased readiness. Human technology advanced without notice. Energy systems grew cleaner and stronger. Communication became harder to block. Medical systems learned from every past mistake. Artificial intelligence was taught to assist, not rule. Every tool was shaped by one simple rule: it must protect human life. Earth's leaders did not rush to join galactic politics. They did not send fleets into busy trade lanes. Instead, they placed listening stations beyond known routes. Small outposts formed in empty systems where no one looked twice. Earth learned the value of silence. Far away, the Galactic Union began to feel something was wrong. Trade routes grew dangerous. Ships vanished without warning. Entire stations went dark. At first, the Union blamed pirates or system failures. Then the losses grew too large to ignore. Reports spoke of attacks that made no sense. Weapons failed. Shields collapsed for unknown reasons. Enemies did not communicate. They struck and vanished, leaving confusion behind. Union commanders argued. Scientists disagreed. No clear enemy was named. Signals of distress began to spread through space. They were raw and desperate, sent by crews who believed someone somewhere might hear them. Most signals faded unanswered. But Earth heard them all. James Walker's listening stations recorded every cry for help. Emily Carter's network traced patterns in the chaos. Michael and Jessica reviewed reports late at night, their screens filled with quiet data instead of fear. They saw the truth forming slowly. Something was testing the galaxy. Earth did not react with panic. It reacted with care. New ships were built, not in rows but in small numbers. Crews trained for rescue, not battle. Supplies were packed for long journeys with no support. Orders were clear. Observe, protect if possible, retreat if needed. No banners were raised. No warnings were sent. Jessica once asked Michael if the Union deserved help after ignoring Earth for so long. Michael did not answer right away. He looked at a live feed showing a distant station breaking apart, its lights flickering out one by one. People are still people, he said at last. Even if they forgot us. Earth did not answer the distress calls. Not yet. Instead, human ships moved into shadowed space, staying outside normal detection. They watched attacks happen. They studied enemy movements. They learned strengths and weaknesses without revealing themselves. Each mission returned with more knowledge. The threat did not understand patience. It relied on fear and speed. Earth relied on planning and time. Back on Earth, children learned history that did not include galactic praise. They learned about survival, cooperation, and quiet strength. They learned that being overlooked could be an advantage. The Union's situation worsened. Worlds that once laughed at Earth's storms now faced dangers they could not predict. Their fleets were powerful, but their thinking was rigid. They had built for dominance, not endurance. Earth had built for the long wait. Michael stood in the shipyard again, watching a finished vessel slip into the water before rising smoothly into the sky. It did not roar. It did not shine. It simply moved, steady and calm. Jessica checked final readings and nodded. "It's ready," she said. Ready for what? Neither of them said aloud. Across space, another distress signal burst into life, filled with panic and fading hope. Earth systems recorded it, stored it, and passed it along. Earth still remained silent. Not because it did not care, but because it was choosing the right moment. The galaxy believed no one was listening. The blue planet was listening to everything. The collapse did not happen all at once. It came in pieces like cracks spreading through glass. One border failed, then another. Trade lanes closed. Union patrols stopped reporting in. The galaxy, once loud and confident, grew tense and afraid. On Earth, the news arrived through silent channels. No alarms sounded in public streets. No panic spread across screens. Those who needed to know were already watching. David Harris stood inside a wide chamber beneath the surface of the planet. The room was simple, built of stone and light. Screens curved around the walls, showing stars, routes, and fading signals. Lauren Brooks stood beside him, her hands folded, her face calm but tired. They were not politicians. They were observers, planners, and messengers. When things went wrong, they spoke for those who could not. The council listened as David explained the situation. His voice was steady. He did not raise it or rush his words. The Union's borders are breaking, he said. Entire colonies are exposed. Some are already gone. Lauren stepped forward next. She showed images of damaged stations and drifting ships. Families trapped in sealed domes. Power failing. Supplies running out. We can reach them, she said. Quietly. Safely. The room stayed silent. The question was simple, but the answer was not. Intervene or stay hidden. Earth remembered the past clearly. Old warnings played again in archived files. Reports that called Earth unstable. Dangerous. Not worth trust. Earth remembered being watched, judged, and dismissed. Some council members spoke of caution. Others spoke of risk. A few spoke of anger they had carried for years. David listened. Lauren listened. Then Lauren spoke again, softer this time. They forgot us, she said. But forgetting is not the same as hating. And fear does not erase lives. David nodded. We survive because we learned to help each other. If we turn away now, we lose more than safety. The council did not vote. There was no need. The decision had already formed in the quiet spaces between words. Earth would act. Not loudly. Not proudly. Quietly. The fleet did not gather in open space. Ships launched alone or in pairs, slipping into dark routes and empty systems. Their engines stayed low. Their signals stayed narrow. To outsiders, they looked like drifting debris or background noise. Each ship carried clear orders. Save who you can. Do not reveal Earth unless there is no other choice. The first colony they reached did not see them coming. A human ship slid into orbit as shields flared against incoming fire. Enemy craft vanished under careful strikes that disabled engines instead of destroying hulls. Human crews moved fast and calm, sealing breaches and restoring power. The colony's people never saw the ships clearly. By the time they looked up, the sky was empty. They only knew they were alive. Across other systems, the same thing happened. Supply pods appeared where shortages were worst. Navigation beacons activated just in time to guide fleeing transports. Enemy systems failed at critical moments, leaving openings for escape. Union commanders reported strange luck. Colonies saved at the last second. Attacks that failed for no clear reason. No one named Earth. David and Lauren watched reports flow in from deep space relays. Each success carried relief. Each loss carried weight. They did not celebrate. They adjusted plans and sent the next wave. Some human ships took damage. Some crews barely escaped. But no ship turned back unless ordered. Earth did not fight for credit. On one distant world, a child stood in a dark shelter as lights flickered back on. Food arrived hours later, dropped by machines no one recognized. The child asked who helped them. No one had an answer. Back on Earth, the council remained silent. Streets stayed calm. Life continued. Only those in the network knew how close the galaxy had come to full collapse. Lauren rested her head against a cool wall after a long shift. David handed her a cup of water. Neither spoke for a moment. They still don't know, she said quietly. David nodded. That's all right. Earth's fleet continued its work, moving through danger without banners or speeches. They repaired, protected, and vanished. The Union's borders stopped collapsing. Not because the threat was gone, but because something unseen was holding the line. The galaxy felt the change but could not explain it. Earth had stepped forward at last. Not as a conqueror. Not as a ruler. But as a quiet guardian, saving lives that never knew who stood between them and the dark. The Union noticed slowly, then all at once. Patterns appeared in the chaos. Colonies that should have fallen did not. Supply lines repaired themselves. Attacks failed at key moments. Analysts replayed data again and again, searching for answers. At first they blamed chance. Then they blamed errors. Finally they admitted the truth. Someone was helping. The question spread through Union space like a quiet storm. Who had the reach, the patience, and the care to act without being seen? The answer led to an old name. At first the word caused confusion. Many leaders had never heard it spoken aloud. Others remembered it only as a weak world, noted long ago and forgotten. When old archives were opened, dust-covered files resurfaced. The descriptions were short and dismissive. Unimportant. Unstable. Limited. Those words no longer fit. A formal request was sent through secure channels, not as a command but as a question. Earth answered after a long pause. A meeting was arranged in neutral space. John Miller stepped onto the platform first. He wore no armor, no symbols of rank. His posture was relaxed, but his eyes missed nothing. Ashley Turner followed, carrying data logs and calm authority. They represented Earth not as rulers but as witnesses. Alien leaders gathered around them, some tall, some small, some moving in ways humans had never seen. Their faces showed disbelief as John began to speak. "We did not come to claim territory," he said. "We came to stop the collapse." Screens activated around the room. Ashley guided the display, showing rescue routes, supply drops, and disabled enemy craft. Every action was precise. Every choice showed restraint. Silence filled the chamber. One leader finally spoke. "Why hide?" the alien asked. "Why not demand recognition?" Ashley answered simply. Lives mattered more than names. The truth settled heavily among them. The Union leaders realized how close they had come to losing everything. They saw how Earth had moved without pride or threat. No demands. No speeches. Only action. Old records were brought forward. The same files that had once pushed Earth aside were rewritten in real time. New notes replaced old warnings. Strength was no longer measured in size or fear. Earth's name returned to the records. Not as weak. Not as dangerous. But as reliable. Daniel Price watched it all from a quiet observation deck. He was a historian tasked with recording facts, not feelings. Still, his hands paused as he typed. He knew this moment would echo far into the future. He recorded the shift carefully. The day the Union admitted it had been protected by the world it ignored. The day history corrected itself. Outside the meeting chamber, Union fleets adjusted their formations. They stopped acting alone and began to coordinate with unseen support. Confidence returned, slower this time, shaped by humility. John and Ashley did not stay long. When questions turned toward alliances and power, John raised a hand. "We will talk," he said. "But not today." Earth did not rush into leadership. It offered guidance when asked and silence when needed. Its ships continued to patrol the dark edges of Union space, still quiet, still watchful. Across the galaxy, stories spread. Some exaggerated. Some misunderstood. But one truth remained clear. The forgotten planet had been there all along. On Earth, life went on. Children played. Cities breathed. The sky remained blue. Most people never knew how close the galaxy had come to disaster. Daniel finished his report with a final line, written in plain words. Earth did not conquer the Union. It shielded it. The record was saved and sealed, not to be forgotten again. The blue planet no longer stood alone in the dark. It stood as a silent shield, steady and watching, remembered at last. The apology did not come as one voice. It came in many forms, from many worlds, sent across many channels. Some were formal messages written in careful words. Others were simple signals of thanks, rough and emotional. Together they carried the same meaning. The galaxy was sorry. Earth received every message. They were recorded, studied, and then placed aside. No reply was sent right away. Not because Earth felt anger, but because humans had learned the value of waiting. John Miller stood before a shared screen showing dozens of Union worlds. John was older now, his hair touched with gray. He had seen fear, silence, and survival. Beside him stood Ashley Turner, calm as always, her eyes moving across data that still changed by the minute. "The Union wants to make this public," Ashley said. "They want to announce what Earth did." John nodded slowly. "And if they do, they will want symbols. Titles. Power." Ashley understood. Humans had seen this pattern before. On Earth, leaders gathered again, not in a grand hall but in a simple room. David Harris and Lauren Brooks joined through secure links. Michael Reed and Jessica Moore sent quiet reports from the shipyards. Daniel Price listened, ready to record what truly mattered. The question was not about victory. It was about the future. The Union offered Earth a high position. a place of command, authority over defense routes, recognition across the stars. Earth declined. "We do not want to rule," John said when the message was sent back. "We want to work together." The response shocked many Union leaders. They had expected demands. They had expected pride. Instead, they were offered partnership. Shared systems replaced strict borders. Training was exchanged. Knowledge flowed both ways. Earth did not take control of Union fleets. It helped them adapt. It taught patience, backup plans, and quiet coordination. The galaxy began to change. Union worlds rebuilt, this time with stronger foundations. They learned to prepare for failure instead of denying it. They learned that speed was not always strength. Daniel Price wrote carefully as events unfolded. He did not use dramatic words. He described facts. Earth had waited. Earth had prepared. Earth had chosen to act without reward. He wrote about the old mistake too. Forgetting Earth had not made it weak. It had given it time. On distant colonies once saved in silence, people looked up at the stars differently now. They wondered who had watched over them before the truth was known. Some sent thanks toward the blue planet they had never seen. Earth accepted none of it as worship. Human ships continued to move through space, still calm, still quiet. They flew beside Union fleets now, not ahead of them. When danger appeared, plans formed together. No one rushed. No one panicked. The threats that once caused collapse faded under steady pressure and shared effort. Not through a single battle, but through many small, careful choices. Lauren Brooks watched one final report scroll past her screen. Borders were stable. Trade flowed again. Colonies slept in safety. "It's over," she said softly. David Harris shook his head. "No," he replied. "It's balanced." On Earth the sky remained unchanged. Storms still came. Oceans still moved. Life continued with all its struggle and beauty. Humans did not see themselves as saviors. They saw themselves as survivors who remembered what it meant to be alone. That memory shaped every choice they made. When the Union finally asked what lessons should be recorded for future generations, Earth sent a single sentence. "Never judge a world by how quiet it is." The galaxy listened this time. Patience had kept Earth alive. Patience had kept it hidden. And patience, when the moment came, had saved them all.